The Greeks did not believe in gods as distant beings to be worshipped from afar. They did not raise their eyes to the heavens expecting thunderous kings in the clouds. They looked outward and inward, sensing the divine in wind and soil, in pulse and breath. The gods were not abstractions. They were presence, energy, movement. Aphrodite was not a concept of love. She was the tremor in the chest, the flush of sudden longing. Demeter was not myth, but memory, the grief of a mother, the stillness before a harvest, the echo of something lost and returned. Zeus did not merely reign. He asserted. Like justice itself, his presence was felt as a natural law. To be overtaken by such forces was not madness. It was life, rightly lived, attuned to something vast and ancient. The Greeks did not bow to idols. They responded to sensations. They gave names to what passed through them and changed them. This was not superstition. It was a deep awareness of what Epictetus called our shared nature. You are a distinct portion of the essence of God within you. The divine did not sit above the world. It coursed through it. To be possessed, then, was not weakness. It was participation. It was to say, I am part of this. I feel what moves. I know what visits. As Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, all things are woven together, and the common bond is sacred. To be open, to be porous, to be moved, is not to lose control. It is to stand as a witness to what is real, and to be shaped by it. The gods were not above nature. They were nature, made personal. Not supernatural, but supersensory. Each one an energy, a mood, a force. This is why their religion still matters. Because even now, in a world of machines and metrics, we are not immune to these visitations. We still feel something pass through us, lust, rage, or grief. And we still don't know where it comes from. We say, I don't feel like myself, or I was overcome. The Greeks had a name for that. They called it divine. And what is the sublime, if not this? Something larger than us, rushing in. Not gentle. Not always kind. But undeniable. It reorders you. It stuns you. It takes your breath, and, for a moment, yourself. To be seized by something vast is not merely an experience. It is a reminder that you are not the center, that the world moves through you. And this, too, is wisdom. Not the brittle kind that clings to control, but the rooted kind that bows, that listens, that feels. The sublime does not ask to be understood. It asks to be received. Like the gods once were. To feel it is to remember, you are being spoken through. And now, let us draw these lessons for the Stoic. Principle 1. The divine is immanent. The ancients did not search for divinity in a distant sky or in temples alone. They found it in the pulse of the world itself. A breeze through olive trees could whisper Hermes. The stillness before a harvest was Demeter's quiet blessing. The flash of justice in a courtroom or the sudden sense of rightness in action was Zeus passing through. And this is as true for us as it was for them. We wait for transcendence as if it will arrive from somewhere else, but it is already here, in a sunrise glimpse through traffic, in the small rhythm of our own breath, in the sudden quiet that reminds us we are alive. Principle 2. Emotion is a form of contact with the sacred. Lust, awe, grief, and joy are not mere chemical sparks, they are the touch of something larger. When your chest tightens in love, Aphrodite has entered the room. When your heart pounds with righteous anger, Ars has brushed your soul. These visitations are not intrusions to be feared but messages to be interpreted. Even today, in our clinical age, to feel deeply is to be reminded that life is not mechanical. Every surge of emotion is an invitation to presence, a sign that life has reached through the veil and touched us. Principle 3. Possession is participation, not weakness. To be overcome by an emotion or force is not always a failure of self-control. Sometimes it is the recognition that we are part of a living cosmos. To be seized by, or at a mountain range or grief at a funeral is to join the shared current of existence. Modern life teaches us to recoil from such vulnerability, to armor the self against feeling. Yet it is in these moments of honest surrender that we most truly belong to the world. Feeling deeply does not mean recklessness. It is participation in the raw fabric of life. Principle 4. Naming gives form to experience. The Greeks gave names to their experiences, turning invisible currents into gods. This was not superstition but clarity. To call fear phobos or love eros made the fleeting intelligible, something you could meet as a companion instead of an enemy. Today, we can do the same. Naming what moves within us, awe, dread, desire, gives us a handle on it. We shift from being victims of our moods to participants in a conversation with them, and in that conversation, freedom quietly begins. Principle 5. Stoic wisdom aligns with ancient sensitivity. The Stoics, though often depicted as cold, understood these visitations. Epictetus reminded us, "You are a distinct portion of the essence of God within you." Marcus Aurelius saw every event and mood as part of a sacred web. The Stoic aim is not to banish the gods but to receive them without losing the helm. Even now, the practice holds. We do not harden against life, but allow it to move through us while holding fast to principle. Resilience is not stone but well-anchored openness. Principle 6. The sublime humbles the self. To be overtaken by beauty, terror, or wonder is to be reminded that we are participants, not masters. The sublime shrinks the ego and stretches the soul. A sky ablaze with stars, a cathedral of redwoods, a sudden moment of silence in a city, these are invitations to humility. In a world that feeds our desire to control and consume, deliberately seeking such moments recalibrates us. They are medicine for the swollen self, reminders that life is larger than our immediate concerns. Principle 7. True wisdom receives before it controls. Philosophy is not a barricade against life but a compass within it. The wise do not slam the door on experience. They let the God enter, observe its movement, and only then decide their response. First reception, then direction. In practice, this means meeting anger without instant retaliation, meeting or without rushing to capture or explain it. Wisdom is the art of conversation with life, and every pause we take before reacting is a gesture of reverence toward that dialogue. Principle 8. Modern life has not banished the gods. Machines, schedules, and screens cannot silence what moves through the human soul. We still wake on days when we are not ourselves, still weep without knowing why, still feel the hair rise on our neck at beauty or danger. These are the old visitations in new disguise. To live well is to remain porous to these currents, to let them move through without shame or haste. When we say, "I was overcome," we are speaking an ancient truth. The gods still pass through us, and our task is not to flee but to meet them with presence and poise.